I have been to several meetings to speak. I've been told several times that I'm not allowed to speak because I'm white.
Hello, I'm Elder, and this is the Open Debate. So this is the third and hopefully final update on Evergreen State College, but almost unbelievably, the madness continues. For anyone who isn't aware of the situation, Evergreen State College had an annual Day of Absence, Day of Presence, where all of the students of minority would leave the campus and attend workshops, and then return to express what happened on those days. This year the students of color wanted all white students to leave campus, and instead of just asking, they demanded they leave. College professor Bret Weinstein felt as though this was racist and decided to write an email expressing how he felt. In doing so, he was deemed a racist, and violent protests erupted, basically calling for him to be fired. The protesters essentially took faculty members hostage while they created a list of demands. Over the past few months, protesters have essentially taken over the campus, terrorizing the premises with violent mobs, shutting down classes, and harassing fellow students. So why am I bringing this back up? Recently, there was a hearing with the Board of Trustees at Evergreen State College where local community members were able to voice their opinions about the situation that's happened. Throughout this process, many individuals were able to express how they truly felt about the situation, and it seems as though the school board may be having their eyes pried open.
I'm forced to conclude that you must not fully understand what has happened, because if you did fully understand what has happened, you would be forced to act in the interest of Evergreen.
Bret Weinstein spoke out about how faculty members were essentially kidnapped.
People were, by the legal definition, I believe, kidnapped and imprisoned. That included faculty members and administrators.
How student members have been stalked and harassed.
Students that held different opinions were, by the protesters' own analysis, stalked, harassed, and doxxed, meaning that their names, pictures, and addresses and phone numbers were distributed online.
How the school has reacted by implementing mandatory bias training for all faculty members.
Do you know that concessions made under intimidation and threat during the protest are now being enacted by the college? That includes mandatory bias training for all faculty. This has come about by an agreement between the faculty union, the administration, and protesters. It was not discussed with the faculty.
And updating their code of conduct to essentially protect protesting students.
The student code of conduct is now being revised in response to demands by those in violation of that very code.
Since this controversy started, there's been talk about defunding the school and having it go private. Now it's gone as far as to have 2 state legislators sponsor multiple bills to try to make that happen. State legislators sponsored bills to defund Evergreen State, turn it into private college. A pair of legislators in Washington state have sponsored bills which would defund the embattled Evergreen State College and turn it into a private entity. State Representative Matt Manwiller's House Bill 2221 and State Senator Phil Ferdinado's Senate Bill 5946 both would phase out state funding for the Evergreen State College and ultimately sell the institution. Some of the Evergreen staff are coming to their senses and have decided to actually let the students know that the actions they're choosing to display are illegal. Evergreen State College administrators finally tell SJWs their actions were illegal. A Friday memo emailed from Washington's Evergreen State College administrators to the student body said that the actions taken by the social justice advocates over the last few months, including intimidation and prohibition of egress from areas, have been illegal and could result in criminal charges. According to the college fix, Vice President for Student Affairs Wendy Endress wrote in a July 14th memo that recent events by social justice warrior students have tarnished Evergreen State College's reputation to the point that enrollment at the college has fallen. In the future, individuals could be charged with crimes including obstructing law enforcement, disorderly conduct, criminal mischief, and/or unlawful imprisonment, Endress wrote. Preventing a law enforcement officer from responding could place community members at great risk. Blocking egress doors is a violation of fire codes. This action endangers everyone in the library. One good thing that's arose from this controversy is that in times of trouble, the strong shall prevail. There was a young Evergreen student named Mackenzie Kiger who addressed the Board of Trustees. Her voice was shaking, but you could tell that she was a very progressive student.
My name is Mackenzie, and I'm a current student at Evergreen. My biggest concerns with directly what's been happening this past spring.
She stated that she disagreed with the way that the situation at Evergreen had been handled.
I totally understand that people are upset, but I don't think this was handled in the right way at all. And this behavior has actually been encouraged. And because of this, I feel like people are becoming more violent, and the campus is becoming more of an unsafe place.
And that on several occasions she had been shut down simply based on the fact that she was white.
I have been to several meetings to speak. I've been told several times that I'm not allowed to speak because I'm white.
Also stating that because of her beliefs, she's now been labeled a white supremacist by her fellow students.
I have actually been labeled a racist and a white supremacist, and if anyone took the time to actually know me, it's not true at all.
I don't know how many times I can say it, but generalizations and identity politics are never consistent. Today's generation is so quick to throw people into classifications and then judge them off of that assumption. Life just doesn't work like that. It's good to see people stand up for what they believe in, even when the initial reception may not be in their favor. This young woman showed an incredible act of courage, and I hope it can be inspiration to anybody who's unsure about whether or not they should speak out. Never be afraid to speak the truth. I personally feel bad for the students who are of sound mind attending that abomination of a school, if you can even still call it a school. I honestly feel as though the situation reflects a much larger issue within Western society, and America especially. We need to learn how to communicate better and stop generalizing everybody into classifications that may not personally reflect that individual. Remember, one of the government's worst fear is to have the citizens realize how powerful we are when we all come together. The goal is to keep us divided, in my opinion, so don't let them win. I guess the main point of this video is that it doesn't matter who you are, your voice is powerful, so use it. Anyways, I'm Elder with the Open Debate. Good luck.
Do you know that the college descended into literal anarchy, and that for days the campus was not under the control of the state? It was under the control of protesters.